Is the real estate market in the GTA crashing, or have we hit the bottom and we're on our way up? Hey there, savvy home buyers and sellers. This is Jeff O'Leary, the Village Guru, Mississauga real estate broker, and welcome to episode 5 of the Coronavirus Market Update. This episode is going to cover the week of April 22nd to 28th, 2020. You're not going to want to miss it. Let's go. Well, welcome to week 6 of lockdown here in Ontario. As with the previous weeks, our real estate market is still down when compared to the same time last year, and that's expected in an environment like this when we have social distancing and just a lot of people are staying home. However, I'm going to go over the numbers because there are some bright spots to this, and I think you're going to want to hear it. So when we compare April 22nd to 28th of this year versus the same time last year, we see that listings are down 69% compared to the same time last year, and that sales are down 75%. So as expected, the market is still down compared to a normal spring market. However, we're going to get into actual numbers, and you're going to see that maybe there's some things that are changing in the background. Okay, so now it's time to answer the question every home buyer and seller wants to know, and that is, Jeff, what's going on with house prices? So as with the previous 4 episodes, we're going to compare semi-detached houses in Mississauga between the prices of $600,000 and $900,000. And again, the reason we do this is because in order to get a true idea of what's going on, you need to compare similar properties in a similar market. That way the numbers aren't all skewed. Now, when we compare the sale of semi-detached houses from last week to the first week in March, which was before coronavirus hit, we can see that sale prices are down approximately 5% compared to March. Now, what might look bad from the beginning, if you've been watching my previous videos, we were down close to 9% in the last couple of weeks. So that's actually an improvement, which is probably a reflection of the fact that inventory is tightening. There's less listings available, and there are actually more sales in this segment. So that's a really good sign for home sellers. In terms of sold to ask ratio, these homes are selling at about 98% of asking price, which tells me that sellers are increasing their listing prices, expecting a little bit of negotiation, and that's where we're at with that. In terms of how long it's taking a house to sell, last week the homes were selling on average in 19 days, which is a little higher than what we were pre-coronavirus, but at the same time, it is lowering compared to where we were a couple of weeks ago, which is telling me that homes are starting to sell quickly again. All right, so now we're going to get to inventory on market because this is the best indicator of how you can reasonably guess what may happen to the real estate market in the future. Again, for this chart, we're going to use semi-detached houses in Mississauga between the prices of $600,000 and $900,000. And as you can see in this chart, we've been tracking the numbers all the way since January 1st of 2020. And every week we've been using the same chart but updating it on a weekly basis. And as you can see, since the middle of March, we've seen a steep drop in the amount of listings being listed on market. And as you can see from our rolling chart, the same trend is continuing as what's been happening over the last couple of weeks. And that is the number of new listings is below the level of homes being sold or terminated on the market. And that is a really good sign for inventory. In fact, the last week, April 22nd to 28th, we saw a severe drop in the number of listings in this price range compared to the amount of homes that actually sold, which is telling me inventory is actually tightening. And when inventory tightens, it puts upward pressure on home prices. So basically what this chart tells us is that the supply of homes in this price range is still very low by historic standards. And in fact, what I'm seeing in April is that a lot of sellers are taking their houses off the market if they're not getting their price because they're not being forced to sell. And you have to remember that in order to have lasting changes in prices, you need to have a separation, and you need to have a lot of listings on the market, and they need to be there for a long time in order to force sellers to start competing with each other to sell. If you don't have a motivated seller or someone who has to sell right now, then they're more likely to wait it out in order to get their price. So this bodes well for inventory in the future. And when the market does pick up, we're going to have a severe inventory shortage in this price range. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this coronavirus market update. As you can see, the market is still quite low compared to what it normally should be, but at the same time, I'm seeing encouraging signs that the market has strong fundamentals, that there's a dwindling supply of homes for sale, which is keeping home prices high. Now, if you're looking for a deal in real estate, they still exist out there. However, they're not as common as some people may think. And as a seller, at the same time, you have to realize that we're still in a market that's not as busy as it was pre-coronavirus. There you have it. I'm Jeff O'Leary. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends. If you have any questions about real estate, always feel free to call or email me. Have yourself a safe day.